Hi, I'm Blake.
And I'm Taylor. And we are the Powell Brothers. And this is another great episode of ETX Rocks featuring Reid Farris.
From the great state of Texas, this is the latest episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. Nestled in the piney woods of East Texas, the ETX ROCKS Show delivers the stories and songs of talented artists of all genres, all styles, from the unheralded and unheard to the legends and beyond. We bring a passion for music and a drive to go behind the curtain with our guests. We focus on all artists, from LA to New York, Nashville down to Texas, and everywhere in between. ETX is our location, not a limitation. Now, as always, it's viewers and listeners like you out there that are our biggest support for the show. If you want to contribute to the show, please do so by donating to www.paypal.me/ETXRocks. And thank you for tuning in. Wherever you're tuned in, please hit the like, follow, and or subscribe buttons. And now for another great episode of ETX Rocks. Hey guys, Boston Chris here, and this is the 231st episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. Now, our guest for this show was born and raised just north of the Forth Worth Stockyards, but also has ties to the San Marcos, Austin area, as well as East Texas. Bursting onto the Texas red dirt country scene in 2017 with his debut single, Don't Want to Want You, don't let this babyface crooner fool you. His music is a melodic blend of country and rock that has been mixed thoroughly with Texas grit. Reid Farris is a young singer-songwriter who knows how to convey real, honest emotion into lyric and melody, and we are excited to talk to him today for the first time on ETX Rocks. Hey guys, so Boston Chris here, and like I said in the open, we're sitting with Reid Farris here today, all the way over from the Fort Worth area. So that's where you're back at now, is Fort Worth. You've kind of traveled around the state a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been in pretty much every part of Texas.
So did it go from Fort Worth to East Texas, then to the Austin area? Is
Yes.
that how it worked out?
Yeah, once I graduated high school, I came out to UT Tyler, stayed out there for 2 years, and then transferred down to Texas State.
And that's where you learned how to play guitar and all that, was at UT Tyler. And,
yeah.
All right, so you did bring your guitar, so you're going to play us a couple of songs. Tell us about the first one. So this is the single, right?
Yeah, that's my current radio single. It's called Muddy Water. And it's really, it's kind of about a 1920s prohibitioner, like moonshiner. You know, just out in the sticks, running from the law. You know, kind of little fun story about that.
Like a Dukes of Hazzard song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love this jam, man. And we were saying off camera that we wish radio would play songs like this a little bit more. He wasn't saying that, I was.
I'm definitely thinking it, though.
Yeah, but yeah, the songs like this, the story songs, the songs with imagery, need to be played more. So I'm challenging Texas radio out there to play songs like this more often. And I'm challenging you guys that are fans of Reid, or maybe you're just hearing about Reid for the first time, call your local radio stations and request Muddy Water. That really helps these guys out, because the higher their songs get, the more notice they get from venues, and the more venues that know who they are, the more money they can make by playing songs out there, which is good for y'all because you get to see them live as well. Yep. So make sure if you like the song, request the song, no matter where you are, even if you're not in Texas. So guys, check this out. It's the single Live and Unplugged by Reid Farris called Muddy Waters.
There's a bridge leading to my house. Oh, and it's burning down. The moon is high and the clouds are low. It's hard to see through all the smoke. Try to point your finger at someone else. There's three more pointing right back at me. Don't you try to swim the muddy water. There ain't nobody ever gonna see you again. No, no, no. Can you hear the cries of the old hound dogs? They got us sitting there coming on strong. I used to be an honest man before they ever put that gun in my hand. Never thought I'd die in the Bible Belt. I'd rather be a myth than hanging from a tall oak tree. Maybe I should just swim the muddy water. There ain't nobody ever gonna see me again. No, no, no. I've been knocking on the devil's door. I think this time there's someone on the other side. Maybe I just swim the muddy water. Ain't nobody ever gonna see me again. No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no, no.
All right, and we are back, guys. That was Muddy Waters by Reid Farris. And don't go anywhere. We're going to be back with more from Reid right after this.
How y'all doing? This is Doug Supernon. Thank you for tuning in to ETX ROCKS.
So what was that process like, going from a non-musician to a musician?
It was more just fun at the beginning, you know, like I mean,
Just from
it
being
still is,
bored
you
or
know.
whatever?
Yeah, my brother actually got a guitar. I think it was the first Christmas when I was in college, and he, he's like, "Oh, it's kind of cool." And he showed me, like G, C, and D.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, it's
Three
kind of
chords and
fun.
the truth.
And so so I went and got my first guitar and just started watching YouTube, teaching myself how to play.
Wow.
So
basically self-taught with technology, basically. And so, I mean, you're learning how to play guitar. How long was it before you attempt to write songs?
I think I wrote my first song about a year after I started playing.
Okay.
When I kind of was getting more comfortable about how to structure my own song.
Yeah.
So.
And that's pretty interesting, too, because, I mean, for me, I've never learned how to play guitar. I'd love to learn, but for me, I think I would need to feel a whole lot more comfortable than just 1 year. So you must have been picking things up pretty solid.
Yeah, like I pretty much, I had a PlayStation at my apartment here, and like I sold off all that stuff. All my free time went to playing guitar and learning.
Okay.
Yeah, just like I said, watching YouTube videos and learning what I needed to be doing.
So what was the first cover song you learned how to play?
17 by Ragweed.
Are you serious?
Very first song.
So everybody is like, "Don't Fear the Reaper" or something like that. You've got a Ragweed song as the first song.
I think my first handful of songs were all Ragweed songs.
Well,
I was obsessed with them.
That's a good start then.
Yeah.
That's a really good start. And you can definitely hear that influence in your music as well. So who were some of your influences before you were a musician? I mean, were you being influenced by music even before then?
I wouldn't say really influenced. I listened to a lot of alternative rock. Like they used to have the Edge in Forth Worth. It was like Tool and The Used, and Foo Fighters and stuff like that. So that's mainly what I listened to. But Ragweed really is what got me into country music. I used to hate country music.
Yeah,
I think it was more so because my parents listened to it, so I was like, I don't want to listen to what they listen to. So I listened to rock.
I was curious if there was a rock influence there because your music is very edgy. It's right there on the edge of in between. The rock and the country. I mean, it's the perfect definition of Americana, if you ask me. But the influences is always interesting to me because I want to know how your recipe came to be formed. Do you feel like a lot of that alternative rock that you were listening to, does it bleed into your music at times?
Yeah, I think it does. More subconsciously, really, than I intend to it to.
Right.
But it's like like I said, I grew up on that stuff.
So you can listen to it back and be like, wow, man, how did that happen?
Yeah, well, and sometimes I'll write a song that's like real country, and then I'll kind of put it to the side, and then listen to the Eagle or something like that.
Yeah.
In Dallas, and you're like, okay, well, that kind of sounds like what I did, but I like the way Dave did this. So kind of like change it up a little bit. And
Well, it's cool because like listening to your EP, it's the same way. Like each song is completely different than the one before it. It's almost like 5 or 6 songs that are different genres all the way through.
Well, and that's it. I got to give credit to Jim Gillen, my producer out in Grand Prairie, because I played him the songs that I wanted to put on there, and he just kind of was like, all right, I know what they need.
Yeah.
And I let him take the reins, and he did a great job.
The instrumentation on this EP is some of the best I've heard. There's so many different instruments in there. Is that a collab between you and the producer, or who's making those calls?
Yeah, that was we was all hired studio musicians, and I actually got lucky enough that Jude is good friends with Jake Mears, who plays lead for Cody Johnson.
Right.
So he came in and recorded lead on the EP. Nice. And then we had Milo Deering do steel and fiddle on there. So it was,
Milo's on everything.
Yeah.
Man.
I let Jude kind of. He knew what they needed, so I let him kind of take the reins.
I wasn't going to call that because it's hard for me sometimes to hear it. But when I was listening to the record, I was like, man, it would surprise me if that's Milo.
Yep, that's him.
Because in the way the steel is utilized on your record is a lot different than you would hear even in a traditional country record. I mean, you've brought back the wailing steel, and I couldn't tell you which song it was, but one of those songs that has the steel in there, and it's just wailing throughout the song. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of what Hank used to do back in the day. So, are you writing that, or is it the producer that's like, man, I think I hear it a certain way here?
No, like I said, I kind of let him take the reins because this was my first record.
Right.
So I was still really green to the process, and whenever we went into start recording, I really didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And then I was like, here's my songs. What do you think they need?
Yeah.
And so we all kind of sat around and hashed it out, and he was like, I think we need to do this. And I was like, all right, well, let's do it.
So this being your first record, when you hear it back for the first time, how blown away are you that, man, these are my songs?
Yeah, well, even before I got the final mixes back, I was like, wow, this is incredible. And he's like, they're not even finished yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it blew my mind that was something I created. So
right.
It was really cool.
And so how long has it been since the day you picked up your guitar for the first time to now?
Right at 10 years.
10 years. Yeah. So 10 years between then and your first record. Mm-hmm. So when the record comes out, you have to be above the moon, right?
Yeah.
I mean, beside yourself.
Long time coming. It was really cool to actually get that product in my hand and be able to show it off to people. And
have you heard yourself on the radio yet?
I actually have. The only time that it was organic was I was driving from the Stockyards to West 7th, and Ben Ryan on the ranch was...
You mean by organic, you mean it just happened? You weren't expecting
I didn't know it was going to happen.
Yeah.
We were just driving across Fort Worth and popped up Reid Farris Muddy Water.
What's that feeling like?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was Snapchatting it. I had to pull over and Snapchat it and send it to all my friends and everything. So, it was really cool.
Freaking Snapchat.
And actually, I got a text from one of my friends that I went to school with out here. She said her cousin lives in, I think it's Monroe, Louisiana.
Okay.
And said that he heard me on the radio out there.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, it's cool what Texas country does, man. It bleeds everywhere. Just with our show, it's cool. Like, we'll have a Texas country artist on. I mean, most of the artists that we talk to are obviously from Texas, but, we're getting views from all over the world.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that, this scene here in Texas is so organic everywhere else as well. People are digging it everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So, got a worldwide reach.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
All right. Okay, so you mentioned Ragweed a little bit earlier as being a pretty big influence, having learned their songs first. But who are some of the other guys and girls that you look up to, especially in the Texas scene nowadays?
Definitely, like William Clark Green.
Yeah.
Roger Krager, Josh Abbott. Those are all, kind of the ones that were really big when I started getting into it.
Right.
And Stoney, Randy Rogers, all that kind of stuff. That was all, kind of what got me into it. So.
And being in the Fort Worth area, I say this all the time, man. Sometimes I just wish I lived in Fort Worth. Actually, a lot of times I wish I lived in Fort Worth because there's so much talent out there. There's just, there's not enough venues to showcase it all out there, unfortunately. But it's like all the time people will be bringing me like an artist that I've never heard, and of course they're from Fort Worth. Yeah. Almost always, and it's like, man. It's almost like Fort Worth is becoming the new Austin as far as talent goes.
It really is.
you know, and it sucks for me because I live in Longview, you know what I mean? So someday, if I ever make money and become rich, I'm moving to Forth Worth.
There you go. We'd love to have you.
Because you guys, man, there's so much out there with you and Red Wine and Dan Johnson and Hannah Owen, Skylar Payne. There's so much talent out there. Jason Eady's from that area too, I believe.
Well, and one thing I love about it is that, you know, since we all are from there or are there now, you know, we hang out all the time. So a lot of us, like, you know, like you mentioned Skylar and Hannah and Rob and everything, like they're good friends of mine. We hang out with them all the time. And so
we
it's
found
a big
out
family
before we started talking on the air that you actually co-wrote one of my favorite songs by Hannah Owens called Chemical Warfare.
Yep.
I had no idea about this. I've been listening to Chemical Warfare probably for about a month and a half on repeat. So, man, it's so cool. Talking about your songwriting now, obviously you've been doing this about 9 or 10 years now. And, you know, your songwriting must have matured and evolved over time. So how do you feel it's changed over time from you first starting till now?
I think it's more just getting me just being more confident about what I want to say and how I say it. I got plenty of songs that I wrote when I first started that I will not ever play.
Right.
Because I'm just like, oh man, these are terrible.
Do you feel like the longer you're a musician, the easier it is to be vulnerable? Or
I
does
think
that ever
so.
become easy?
Yeah, I think it depends, obviously, on what kind of feedback you start getting.
Yeah, true.
You know, but I think you just kind of, if you do it long enough, you tell yourself that it's okay to be like, I'm putting myself out there. They're either going to like it or not.
Yeah.
You know, and just accepting that.
Right.
So.
And I mean, obviously, the older you get, the more you're living too. So the more experience you can draw from,
more to write
as
about,
far as songs go. But like Muddy Water is I mean, that's a story song. I can see that in a movie. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm imagining that you probably didn't live that story. So, where does that imagination come from?
It was just kind of, you know, like I read a book, I think about 4 or 5 years ago. It's just kind of songwriting tips and everything, and they would tell you to just start writing a story. Like, don't try to structure it as a song or anything. Just start writing.
Yeah.
Make up your own story, and then you can take the idea from that story and turn it into verses and choruses and everything.
Right.
And so I actually was just kind of messing around with the chord progression that I have for Muddy Water, and just started rambling off words. You know, I started talking about a bridge, and, you know, kind of turned into this story about, at least what I see it as, like a 1920s prohibitioner, like moonshiner or something like that, you know, running from the law. So it just kind of, I let it do its thing. Kind of came out all on its own.
Cool. Okay, so, like your process for writing, do you find that it's easier to write lyrically first, or is it melodically that comes first a lot of the times for you?
It kind of is a song by song case.
So it just depends.
Yeah, like there's a couple of them that I had the lyrics completely written out before I ever picked up the guitar, and put anything to it. And there's some that, like the new one that I just wrote, I had that chord progression in my head, and I probably sat around with that for about 2 months, trying to figure out what I wanted the song to be about.
Yeah.
And once I had that melody in my head and everything, it was a lot easier to write the lyrics. So it kind of just depends on what pops into my head first.
And are you one of those songwriters that the melody gets into your head and it just won't go away until you finish it?
Yeah.
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 So that, I mean, if you've got a certain song that's replaying in your mind, if you don't finish that song, you're not going to get to the next song.
No. And that's what I try to, if I'm getting too frustrated with it, or I'm just like nothing's working, I'll just set the guitar aside, come back to it in, you know, a day or two.
Yeah.
But just keep going back to that.
Just hitting
until
that
I figure
reset
it out.
button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever want to be like, no, I need to write this, I need to write something, so you force it, and then you're like, well, I really don't like it. But you can't.
But at the same time, I've heard, you know, from songwriters that, you know, if I don't write that song, then I'm going to be stuck until that song is finished. I mean, I've heard that multiple times from different people. Of course, every songwriter is different, but that's why I always ask these questions in a certain way, because I want to know how you write and why you write and all those things. But a lot of times, if that song is stuck in there and you can't get it out, you can't finish it or whatever, it can really mess with your creativity. So is it kind of like that for you as well? You just have to finish it?
I wouldn't say I have to. Sometimes I'll keep it written in my phone, or I'll record it so I can go back to it later.
Yeah.
And I just try to put it out of my head.
Right.
And start working on something else if I can. And then.
Does it work for you though? Like working
sometimes.
on something else?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll just go try and learn a new cover song for a set.
Nice.
And so I'll focus on that for a while, learning that song, and then maybe, who knows, I might get an idea from that song that I just learned that sets off the one that I was trying to write.
Right. So, I mean, speaking of Fort Worth earlier, let me ask you this. How passionate are people out there, like the fan base, how passionate are they about original music?
Oh, they love it.
Because I know there's a huge tug of war, especially with venues. Some venues want more covers. Some venues want more originals, and kudos to those venues, by the way. So, I'd love to hear, like, when you're sitting in a listening room, or even if it's just a regular honky-tonk or something like that, how passionate is the fan base there just about the originals over the covers?
They're really good about actually sitting down and listening, and especially if you kind of intro as like, hey, this is my song, I think y'all really like it, so please listen. Most of the time, if they're there to come see you instead of just kind of being at the bar,
right?
Then they're pretty good about listening and really taking it in.
Yeah, because I've heard that from Fort Worth people. Like they're really open for the original music, and I mean that's what I am. I'm a huge fan of hearing original music. I'm not if I want to hear a jukebox, I'll just stay home and click on YouTube or whatever. Yep. But at the same time, I mean, covers can be cool too if you put your own unique spin on them. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I want to hear new music all the time. That's what I'm inspired by. What I'm, it's like hearing Hannah Owens for the first time, or Reid Farris for the first time. Muddy Water hit me that way. It's like, man, I can hear this in a movie. You said True Blood.
Yeah, that's what I've been told multiple times, that it kind of sounded like the True Blood intro. So.
We gotta make that happen, man.
I need to pitch it to him,
or put it on Grey's Anatomy. we'll put it like have them go back in time or something.
I think we can make that work.
Wouldn't that be cool if they did a Grey's Anatomy where they're back in like Civil War days?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We're both in
Battlefield
Greys.
medicine.
Yeah, battlefield medicine. All right, so you said that the first record has been out since May, but you're working on new music. So are we thinking 2018 for that?
Yeah, it's we're coming down to finance.
You're right.
Like every musician does.
Yeah, you're right.
But I've already recorded my version of Chemical Warfare
nice.
For the next record, and I've got an idea of at least 6 or 7 songs that I want to do. So I might just do another EP, or if I get some more written pretty soon, then try and do a full record. But,
right.
Yeah, it's mainly just kind of waiting on money, seeing what exactly I want to do with it. So
yeah,
hopefully this year will be.
And I mean, you're predominantly a solo artist too,
yeah.
So I mean, a lot of your gigs out there are the solo singer-songwriter type, opening act kind of thing. But you're also putting together a band for the first time this year. So how's that process going for you?
Luckily, I know a bunch of guys that are play with a bunch of other people around here and everything, and so I'm trying to get some guys together, and hopefully I can start getting some full band headlining shows and stuff like that, and start really just kind of get on the road and move away from Fort Worth a little bit. And
I think that's going to be a huge step in making those singles climb higher and faster, I think, because once you start bleeding into different areas and different regions of Texas and people know your name a little bit more, then your fan base just grows exponentially and you've got people requesting from all over.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking forward to, is getting down to Houston and now in West Texas, out here. Mm-hmm. So.
And I think that's the way to go. So I'm glad to hear that, man, because it's always a big step to go from a solo artist to a band, because a lot of things can change in your sound, because now you've got 3 or 4 other guys with their own set of influences and stuff like that too. So it's always a risky step. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking, but I had a band down in San Marcos in Austin for about 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And it's all great friends of mine, but it was more of a hobby for us at that time.
Yeah.
And even then, I didn't really have more than, I think, 3 or 4 songs that I'd written. It was mainly like cover stuff.
Right.
So it's a little bit different now, trying to put out a record of originals and getting your
Tell
own
us
songs.
what that was like, just living in Austin and being a gigging musician down there.
It was a lot of fun. That's how I got through college. That's how I made my money in college.
Yeah.
The only thing that was kind of offsetting about it was that Austin is very oversaturated.
Yeah,
or at least
I agree.
this was, probably 6 years ago, and so they could kind of get away with not really paying that well.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of one of those things where like, I want to play on 6th Street, so I will take that. That.
See, that's the vibe I was getting there too when I was there. We just went to visit on a weekend, and this is the only time I've ever been, and we would walk 6th Street, and I mean every single club has music.
Yep.
So it's like on one side of it, it's like, man, at least they're supporting locals. At least they have music and they're putting it out. But then we were hearing that a lot of these bands weren't being paid and that they're playing for tips, and it's like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's like it's basically the same as not playing.
Yeah, it's definitely a little disheartening.
Yeah.
But at least whenever I was down there, like I said, that was my first band. We were mainly a cover band, so we were just kind of doing it for fun at that point. So I wasn't. It's not like it.
It's a
made
good
me
growing experience, at least, right?
Yeah. And definitely learning just kind of how to put on a show.
Right. And so, I mean, how does Fort Worth differ from Austin in any way? Are there differences?
I think, well, at least in my experience in Fort Worth, like I said, we're a bunch of friends up there, so it feels a lot more like a family.
Less
there.
competition and more support.
Yeah.
Right.
Like like Skylar Payne, does his songwriter showcase at Magnolia Motor Lounge on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And whenever it used to be a Capitol Bar, that's actually how I met a bunch of the people that I'm good friends with now up in Fort Worth, like Hannah and Rob and a bunch of them.
Right.
And it was all just going to hang out at Capitol Bar on Sunday nights and be like, hey, you want to come play a couple of your songs? Yeah, I'd love to. And getting to hear everybody.
See, those are the kinds of nights that I hate that I'm missing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
If you guys haven't heard of Skylar Payne out there's a name you guys need to look up, and I'm hoping we can get him on this show soon. Skylar, please. Love your stuff. His song "Insane" is just ridiculous.
That's why I was really glad when he got his EP done and put out.
Man, it's just organic. You want to talk about honest music? There's some honest music for you, Skylar Payne, and that seems to be just emanating from the Fort Worth area in droves.
Yeah.
So many different artists putting stuff out like that. It's great to see. I just wish I was closer.
Yeah. Well, it's only about 2 hours. You can make it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, we plan on hopefully, if we can raise enough money with the show, we're hoping to do like little interview tours in different areas of the state. And Fort Worth will probably be first on the list. Just get a motel room for the weekend and set up a bunch of interviews that we just do one after the other.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it could be a lot of fun. So hopefully soon we can do something like that. If you want to donate and help with that, it's www.paypal.me/ETX ROCKS. Help us out. Help a brother out.
We need to get him over there.
Yeah. Okay, so we've been sitting here with Reid Farris, episode 231. Reid came to visit with us today from Fort Worth, and he was playing at the Oasis last night in Midlothian, and I bet you that was a party.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Brandon
I got to open up my buddy Brandon.
Yeah.
And I've known Brandon for about 6-7 years. He was one of the first musicians I met in Fort Worth.
Right.
Kind of took me under his wing, and so it's always nice to be able to get to do shows with him again.
Yeah. Another great artist as well, Brandon Stedman. But guys, as you know, if you're following along with the ETX ROCKS Show, we like to play a game on the show. So we're going to do that with Reid right after this. So you guys don't go anywhere. We're going to play some
Hey
What
guys,
the Heck.
it's Jeremy Tipton from the Tiptons, and you're tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Okay, so we are back. We're again, this is episode 231 with Reid Farris. And as you guys know out there, if you're watching this show more than once, that we like to play a game. And we do email our artists and let them know, hey, you need to check out an episode or two so you know what we do. That way they're not surprised when we play the game. But a lot of them are still surprised because musicians are really busy. Sometimes they don't have time to check out an episode or two. But that makes it more fun for me because then they have no idea what's going on. So we are going to play What the Heck with Reid Farris. And Reid, the way this works is I'm just going to ask you 5 questions. Some of them might be silly or stupid. Usually I'll throw in a deep question as well just to keep it balanced. But basically what I'm looking for is just turn your filter off. I want you to, whatever the first thing that pops into your brain is what I want you to say.
Okay.
Sound good?
We'll do that.
All right, so this is What the Heck with Reid Farris. All right, so number 1, what do you think happens if you get scared half to death twice?
Are you a zombie?
Could be a zombie. I don't think we've ever had somebody say that. Please elaborate. How would you be a zombie?
Well, half to death twice, so you're half to death and another half dead.
So you're dead, but that doesn't necessarily make you a zombie.
It's true.
That would just make you dead.
Maybe
I think there's like a certain like process in becoming a zombie.
Maybe I'm just obsessed with The Walking Dead too much.
Yeah, maybe. That is a good show.
I think it comes back on tonight too.
Do you think the show has lost some appeal?
Yeah. I think a lot of people have been like, okay, well, there's nothing really happening, and
Yeah.
we had
They
that,
lost
that
me.
zombie, obsession for
Right.
a few years with movies and TV shows and everything. I wonder if it's kind of trailing off a little bit.
Yeah, they lost me when they started having all these different groups and the Tiger and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, none of this makes sense to me anymore.
Yeah. Well, and I think I've never read the comics, but I think they're a little more in depth and
Yeah.
a little more gritty, I guess, than they're allowed to put on TV.
Yeah, it could be. Could be. All right, number 2 of What the Heck with Reid Farris. Now, is there an artist that has passed away that you would give up a year of music to see live?
Glenn Frey.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I love the Eagles.
So just Glenn Frey solo, or would it have to be with the Eagles?
Either or.
Either or.
Yeah.
Wow. That doesn't surprise me, though, because I can hear the Eagles' influence in your
Yeah.
music.
Like the documentary
Yeah.
they have.
Yep.
It inspires me to write. Just watching that thing, and I'm like, man, I need to write stuff like this.
What do you think of the new lineup?
I love it. That's
Yeah.
why I want to go see him in Dallas, and I think it's in August.
Yeah.
But I'm a musician, so I
Do
can't
you think
afford
that's a good choice with Glenn's son and Vince Gill?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it'll. I've yet to hear him, but I don't see how they can.
Well, I
go
mean,
wrong
I haven't
with it.
heard him yet either, but I've heard good things about
Yeah.
it, like from people that have gone to see them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with Vince Gill.
Yeah, but I think it's a sticky road to travel, I guess, when you're trying to replace somebody of
Yeah.
Glenn's stature,
Oh yeah.
just to keep things going. But I think it sounds like they've done it very tastefully, and it sounds like the music is still good too.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't think anybody is ever like, he's going to take over for him or, be better than him. It's just kind of keeping it going.
right,
You know?
yeah, I agree. All right, number 3. So now pet food comes in flavors, right? So like you see pet food and it might be tuna or salmon or beef or whatever. But how do we know for sure that the dog food is that flavor?
I guess if you're brave enough to taste it.
So
I wouldn't be. But
Apparently, we finally found somebody who has not eaten dog food. That's awesome. It seems like every time we ask that question, someone will say, "Yeah, it's definitely that flavor. I've tried it." You know?
I don't think I've been brave enough to try it.
No, not me. My dad used to eat dog food all the time.
Really?
Yeah, crazy as hell.
Just
Yeah,
for the heck of it?
he would literally make the food for my dog while tasting it.
I guess you got to make sure it's safe for your pet, right?
I guess so. But my dad wasn't all the way there, so that's for sure. Yeah, he would lick the spoon like it was.
I don't
ice
think I could
cream.
ever do that. I don't know.
It was literally like it was ice cream or cookie dough or something, Just crazy.
Maybe a bacon flavor. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, number 4. Now, a penguin walks through the store right now, just interrupts our interview, and he's wearing a sombrero. Why is he here, and what does he say?
He's here for the good music and tequila.
And what does he say?
I don't know what a penguin say.
I don't know. He'd probably be pissed that we
guess
don't
like-
have any tequila.
Yeah.
We have the good music, but we don't have any tequila. We're going to have to rectify that, actually.
Yeah, a little
I
Patron.
like a good tequila. All right, number 5, last one. Now, you're stranded on a deserted island, and now you can pick any person, alive or dead, to be stranded there with you. So first, I want you to tell me which person that is. And then tell me 3 different items you would need to keep that person entertained.
Honestly, I'd have to go with my grandpa,
Okay.
who passed away when I was about 11 years old.
All right.
And we would need car parts, some tools, and a boombox.
Boombox. No electricity. So you probably need batteries.
Yeah.
That would be a 4th item.
Okay, well, a guitar then.
Now that's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he know how to play guitar?
No, he wasn't involved in music, but he liked to restore cars and work on cars and everything like that. And that's one thing that I wish I would have been able to pick up from him before he passed away.
Right.
Because I think I was about 11 years old when he died.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, I think I would pick my dad. My dad's been gone since 2013. Not from the dog food, mind you, but yeah, I miss him. And I wish he could see a lot of the stuff we get to do. And so, what do you think your granddad would think about your music and all that stuff?
I think they'd be proud. You know, I wish they could have been here to see what I chose to do with my life.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think about that a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do as well. Don't want to end on a somber note, so yeah, that was What the Heck with Reid Farris. I'm going to ask one more question, though, so we don't end on a somber note. All right, so that question is going to be, number 6, where do you think squirrels go during hurricanes?
I guess they would hide in a tree, wouldn't they? Or go underground?
So, I've heard this before, the same exact answer. So, either underground or in a tree. So, how do they get underground? Are there like little FEMA bunkers or something like that? Or are they digging holes?
I think they're digging holes.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never seen a squirrel dig a hole, though.
Maybe there's a hole through the tree into the ground. They can just follow the roots.
Wow. So
smart squirrels.
It's going to be like the phone booths in Harry Potter then, right?
Yeah, it's just little secret tunnels underneath the trees.
They just go into the hole and they go shoot down into
Either
the
that
ground.
Or they find one of those where the Keebler elves go.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, maybe they have, that'd be the connection to have during a hurricane.
Maybe they know more than we think they do.
Well, see, the thing is, I've been in a hurricane a few times, and I've never seen squirrels when there's a hurricane around. So I've always wondered where they go.
Or that, or maybe they're like birds and they just all run away from the.
Yeah, that could be. But hurricanes can be pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm gonna have to do some research on
I
squirrels.
mean, what happens if you have like 1 or 2 squirrels that don't have like that hurricane sense, and they're completely surprised by it? It's just like survival of the fittest then. Yeah. All right, you heard it here first. The squirrels have little tunnels underground, and they use the trees to get to them.
Yep. It's a fact.
Awesome stuff. It is factual now. Reid Farris, What the Heck, episode 231. So I have one last question for you, and sometimes this can be the hardest one for an artist to answer. Who is Reid Farris?
I'm a simple guy who knows what he loves and trying to make my life doing it. You know, I know what I want to do, and I'm working at it.
Awesome. And so you, like we said earlier in the show, he is going to play another song, and I'm really excited about this. He's going to debut a brand new song that he just wrote recently on the show. So tell us about the song and the story about it.
Well, it's called Heartbreak Coming On, and it's really just about that kind of relationship where you want it to work, and you're doing everything you can to make it work, and you just maybe in the back of your head you're kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm going to keep working at it.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
isn't that the way love is anyway? You know, like,
do what?
Isn't that the way love is anyway?
Oh,
like you're in it, and it's like, man, I don't know if I want to take this jump, but man, it feels so good. And but yeah, this is definitely that song. You can feel the heartbreak coming on, but you still do it because love just makes you stupid sometimes.
Well, and it's like one of those things. You'd rather try it and have it not work out than
never try it.
Look back and be like, man, if only I would have tried.
Yeah, what could have happened?
Yep.
Very true. So you guys, brand new music, Heartbreak Coming On by Reid Farris, right here coming at you. Don't go anywhere.
I had this feeling I was falling in love. You don't know why, but you can't get enough. You're like a drug that keeps me hanging on, wishing that the morning won't ever come. Well, leave it to me to say what's on my mind, but I can't pull the words back no matter how hard I try. Well, you won't let me in, and I won't let you go. The pain's gonna come, that much I already know. But we've got a good thing going on. It don't put out a fire, it still wants to burn. Ooh, I hope I'm wrong, but I feel wish you felt the same way, my dear. When I come out burned, it's 'cause I walk straight through the fire that I wanna feel between me and you. Well, leave it to me to say what's on my mind, but I can't pull the words back no matter how hard I try. Well, you won't let me in, and I won't let you go. The pain is gonna come, that much I already know. We've got a good thing going on. Don't put out a fire that still wants to burn. Ooh, I hope I'm wrong, but I feel heartbreak coming on. You won't let me in, and I won't let you go. The pain is gonna come, that much I already know. And we've got a good thing going on. Don't put out a fire that still wants to burn. Ooh, I hope I'm wrong. Ooh, I hope I'm wrong. I feel heartbreak coming on.
All right, so we are back once again with Reid Farris. That was Heartbreak coming on. Brand new music from Reid. And do you think that'll make the new EP?
Yes.
Cool.
I hope it will.
Possible single too, I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm pretty
right?
sure it will be. Cause that's one of my favorite ones that I've done.
I
recently,
love it,
so.
man. Just the music in it. I can't wait to hear it done up in a studio atmosphere. I can kind of hear some fiddle in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I got some friends that can do that for me.
Right. It's always good to have good friends. And so, again, we're sitting here with Reid. Now, Reid, if people are just hearing about you for the first time, where can they follow along on social media and find everything Reid Farris?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Just Reid Farris Music. I think my Twitter is the only one. It's just at Reid Farris. Everything else, Reid Farris Music.
Okay.
And I also have Reverb Nation and Bands in Town page and reidfarris.com.
Okay. And I'm going to spell that out for everybody out there. It's ReidFarris Music. That's Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram is Reid Farris Music. And on Twitter, it's just Reid Farris.
Yeah, at
and
Reid
then
Farris.
reidfarris.com, right?
Yeah.
And so also on is it Bands in Town or Bandcamp?
Bands in Town.
Bands in Town and Reverb Nation. You can find them at Reid Farris out there as well. You guys, I know I say this on every show, but you don't realize how much support it shows an artist just to hit that like or follow button. Yep. A lot of people say, oh man, I don't have a lot of money, so I can't support local music. Well, you're wrong, guys. It doesn't cost a dime just to hit a like or follow button, and that really helps out a lot. Not only with being able to tell you, his fan, where he's playing, but also it shows venues that he has a fan base. Yep. And that's important to an artist, just to get a gig here and there, because some venues unfortunately look at stuff like that. They shouldn't, but they do. It should be about the music, in my opinion. But a lot of places want to see that fan base in place, and I guess it is a business. But
yeah, well, I've heard of venues telling people like, oh, unless you've got so many Facebooks, like you're not playing here.
It's stupid.
So
I disagree with that. I think it should be about the music, and I think everybody needs to work together to build that scene. Yeah. It can't just be the artist bringing the people to the scene. It has to be the venue as well. And I think a lot of venues fall short of that. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So change that, guys. But again, just hit the like and follow button. If you could tell people one place to follow you, where's the best place?
Definitely Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just a lot easier to get everything out on there, and putting shows up and sharing videos and all that kind of stuff.
So what we'll do for you guys out there is we'll link in the description below his Facebook and his reidfarris.com. That way you can check everything out. I'm sure on reidfarris.com venues can contact you for bookings.
Yep.
You can find tour information. Can they purchase your music there as well?
Not through the website yet, but you can get it on iTunes and Spotify and Pandora and all that kind of stuff. So,
and again, awesome EP with the single "Muddy Water" on it, and it also has the first single on there as well. So you'll want to pick that up. It's right here, and I believe it's self-titled as well.
Yeah.
It's Reid Farris. It's got 6 songs on there, including "Don't Want to Want You" and "Muddy Water," both singles. And it's awesome. I was listening to it all last night. Each song's completely different. You're going to feel different genres, different styles of music. The instrumentation on this record is second to none. Incredible stuff. So iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. I believe it's on Spotify as well. You can check that out everywhere. And I think it's on YouTube as well, right?
I actually just recently switched from CD Baby to Smith Music for distribution. So I do have to get it back up on YouTube.
Okay. Okay, and once again, this is episode 231 with Reid Farris. I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in to another great episode of the ETX ROCKS Show. If you're hearing about us for the first time, you can follow along with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're located at ETX ROCKS. If you're watching on YouTube, you can do us a huge favor just by hitting that subscribe button. It's completely free. And if you like what we're doing, you can also smash that like button. Just boom, boom, right below where you're watching, subscribe and like. Definitely appreciate that. And I'll even let you know what that does. For one, subscribing to us helps open up our show to recommended. They have this thing on YouTube called recommended videos or suggested videos. And the more subscriptions a channel has, the more times their videos get into those recommended areas. So if you like what we're doing, you can definitely support us a lot just by subscribing to the channel. Wherever you're listening, if you're listening to the audio version of this, every single platform that we're on has a subscribe or follow button as well. So if you like what we're doing, follow along, subscribe. You'll get notified of everything that we do. Now, all of our funding depends entirely on listeners and viewers like you out there. So we can definitely use your help financially as well. And you can donate to the show simply by going to www.paypal.me/ETXRocks. And we definitely thank you. We'll take anywhere from 50 cents to $1 million. Yep. Anything over $1 million, we have to wash it. And my washing machine is tiny. We can only do like 50 grand at a time in there, man.
Do a couple loads.
Yeah. Laundry's a bitch. We have like 17 kids, man. We're always doing laundry. Nothing higher than $1 million, please. The last person that did that is like in jail in the Bahamas or something like that. I don't know. Not really. But we definitely thank you guys, anybody that's donated out there. I'm going to mention a couple of people on camera as well. Thank you to Rita Wright, and thank you to Robert Molina for your support in the show. They're the last two that have donated to us. Man, I can't tell you guys thank you enough. We definitely appreciate everything you do to help us keep this show going. As we always say on this show, we want to thank you guys out there for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX rocks.
That's right.
Howdy, folks. This is Aaron Watson.
This is Bree Bagwell.
This is Jake. And this is Walter from Rocky Queen.
This is Curtis Grimes.
Monty Pittman.
This is Doug Supernon.
I'm Heather Little.
This is Rob Redwan.
Ho! Hey, folks, I'm WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hey guys, I'm Katie Lynn, and make sure to tune in to ETX Rocks with
Boston Chris.
Hello, y'all. This is Ronnie Millsap, and thanks for tuning in to the ETX ROCKS Show.
Tough guy. Ho!
Hey guys, we're Blacktop Mojo, and thank you for tuning in to ETX Rocks.